Burpage. Pepsi Max.
Oh, there you go. I'm on the coffee tonight, Derek, just because I know it's going to be a late one. So
I've got a coffee and a Rustler's burger waiting for me later.
You still eating the horrible Rustlers?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
I've moved on to ordering a Just Eat kebab type thing when I'm drunk now rather than a Rustler's. So.
I don't know what's worse. You're the only person I know that used to eat them as well. But there you go. Right, well, I'm ready to go, mate. If you're ready to go as well.
Aye, because this is going to be a long one, I think. And I wasn't talking about anatomy. 75th minute, the Arfield keeper. The Arfield keeper? Fuck's sake. The Antwerp keeper. So, as ever, you can check our stuff out at... what is the fucking website called now? iReadyPodcast.org. I don't even know.
That's handy.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Are You Ready podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek, and with me is my co-host Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
Good evening, Derek. How are you, pal? How's the heart holding up after that game tonight?
It's still sitting round about 110 beats per minute, so it's went down slightly.
It was quite incredible. I know we're going to speak about it a little later on, but an incredible result for us. But we don't do things the easy way, do we? But as I say, we'll be speaking about that soon. Eh?
Absolutely, yes. Got 4 games to cover tonight. Oh, I'm exhausted, Dave. I really am. I don't know why to do this now.
My son actually told me tonight, near the end of the game, that I had to calm myself down. Now, when your 14-year-old son is telling you to do that, you know that you've got a problem, Derek. But I think there was thousands of other bears out there just like me that were feeling exactly the same thing. Just a few minutes to go there. But as I say, I'm just starting to slightly calm down now, so yeah. I'm good to go.
Well, we'll get our blood pressure going up again shortly, so don't worry. So we better start off and go down the tunnel and onto the pitch. So the first game we've got to cover was on Wednesday the 3rd of February. It was a 1-0 win at home against St Johnstone in the Premiership. 2 changes from the Hibs game where Roof and Hadji come in for the suspended Morelos and Kamara. Wearing black armbands as well to honour the sad passing of Captain Sir Tom Moore, so that was a good gesture there. Yeah. Unfortunately though, Rangers had updated RTV and had left a lot of fans locked out of it. Fortunately I was okay. I think it may have been affected the season ticket passes rather than the actual RTV subscribers.
Yeah, because I was fine with it as well, Derek. So I think you're probably right there. I think it was more to do with the season ticket rather than just the one-off games. Because as you say, that was the sort of common thing and complaint that I heard, and it was for guys that had got the season tickets as well. So
obviously no good for any fan being locked out like that. You can imagine the company would have simulated load testing and things like that, but it's poor. It's really poor, and I don't think there's any best time to kind of put an update in place without testing it out with actual customers. So unfortunately it's one of these things that they need to go through, but fortunately it seems to have been sorted now. So we lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Helander, Barisic, Davis, Jack, Aribo, Kent, Hadji and Roof. On the subs bench we had McLaughlin, Bassey, Wright, Itten, Zungu, Patterson, Kamara, Stewart and Balogun. So, first half overall, relatively poor first half. Granted, St Johnstone were playing with every man behind the ball, but we were slow and pedestrian at times, once again, not putting their defence or keeper under much pressure, which was a disappointing thing to see.
Yeah, it was, Derek. As I say, I think we've been used to a lot this season, coming out the traps straight away, haven't we? Putting teams under immediate pressure, and a lot of the times it worked out, but it just, it wasn't. It was very lackadaisical in the first half, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. On the 12th minute was a long diagonal from Goldson into Aribo in the box. Lovely cushioned header to pass to Kent in space, who picks up the ball, drops the shoulder, shimmies inside and has a shot, but just wide of the right post. 18th minute, St Johnstone worked the ball into the box on the right hand side from a throw-in. Helander didn't clear it. St Johnstone attacker barges in. Ball appears to hit his arm, but nothing given. He got a shot off at the near post, forcing McGregor into a save with his feet at the near post and out for a corner. Again, a potential foul for a handball. Nothing given again.
Yes.
21st minute, Roof shown a yellow card for a foul. He did stand on the ankle of the player in an attempt to shield the ball. There was no malice intended whatsoever. Was it a bad challenge? Yes, it was. Was it a booking? Yes. Was it a red? A lot of people said it should have been, but not in my eyes.
No.
I think too many people were trying to be diplomatic in this case.
Yeah, I would say so. It was a bit harsh, Derek, and I agree with you 100%. I think it was a yellow, but as usual, the sort of trial by sports scene that we keep seeing, slowing it down as much as possible to make it look as if there was like total intent there to do some damage, a lot of nonsense. So no, I think yellow card at most, I think.
Yeah, so the referee did deal with it at the time. We will get on to what happened after the game though. 32nd minute, ball on the left, pass to Aribo at the edge of the box, uses his strength to fend off the defender, manages to turn and put a cross in that was deflected. Roof got his foot to it, but it put it wide. 38th minute, free kick by Tavernier, played low into the box on the right side. Goldson gets the outside of his foot to it and puts it wide. Should have been in. I don't know why he was trying to hit that ball with the outside of his foot. It was probably surely easier to hit with his plastic with his toe or something. 41st minute, long ball played into the final third of the St Johnstone half. Defender tried to head it clear, but Kent was alert and nipped in, robbed the ball from him. He passed it forward and then was seemed to stop, which allowed St Johnstone to regroup, and our advantage was lost. Really poor, and it's been a sad feature of our play where we have the advantage, granted maybe not the numerical man advantage, but we just hold up our play and it allows them to regroup, so we need to start again. And it's a continual cycle like that. I don't know, just there was a case tonight where you could clearly hear it because there was no piped noise, where there was a shout from the bench when Goldson got the ball forward, and he looked as if he was going to turn back and pass back to McGregor, but you could hear it, no, go forward, and they just turned back and went forward. That's the kind of more forward thinking play we need.
Yeah, as Derek, we'll get into. There's a player that I want to speak to you about later on, if I still remember, and I think it's been a trait of his play a lot this season. I think you know who it is I'm going to talk about, but I'll let you go on with the match just now anyway.
So that ended the first half. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst either. We just needed to put their keeper under more pressure, which again, from January onwards, it's kind of been similar, hasn't it?
It has been. We have gone. The one positive thing though, Derek, is we've still been managing to scrape wins, and we've still been very, very solid at the back, which has been our saving grace, hasn't it? And, you know, I was still hopeful, you know, that we would eventually get the breakthrough in the game. But I knew that it wasn't going to be a high-scoring game. I thought if, you know, it would maybe just be a 1-0 at that point, because we did look a bit disjointed every time we were going forward.
Yeah. So into the second half, on the 48th minute, on the right-hand side, Davis holds up the ball in the box. Lovely flicked into the middle of the box to the on-running Hadji, who has a shot, but it was saved from the keeper. 49th minute, Tavernier on the right, just outside the box, whips the ball in, bounces right in front of the keeper, who makes a save. I don't think he knew much about it. And unfortunately, on the 52nd minute, Hadji made it 1-0. Ball played to the right, outside the box, drives into the middle with intent, hits a shot to the right side, and outfoxes everyone into the back of the net. Just a brilliant individual goal from Hadji there.
Excellent, and he scored, you know, his famous goal against Braga, Derek. It wasn't quite as spectacular, but very similar in his movement and his position and where he actually hit the ball. So no, it was an excellent goal for him. You could see his intent straight away. He's got that ability to be able to run in and then just unleash a shot, and it was an excellent goal, well placed. It wasn't a rocket, but the accuracy was the best thing about it. Placed it right in the bottom corner, so absolutely fantastic goal. And you know, it's an old saying, but a goal worthy of winning a game, and that's what it did. But no, it was excellent.
Yep. 66th minute, Roof off and Itten on. 70th minute, a quick break by St Johnstone, work to the left side. Quick inwards pass finds their attacker from 25 yards from goal, who hits a shot and a big block off McGregor. The ball wasn't cleared properly and we allowed their attacker to run in and take it into the box. He beat two players and hits a shot. Another big one-handed save on the deck by McGregor. Really poor allowing them to waltz through us like that. There's been occasions where when we do have lost goals this season, it's been because of poor marking, which we'll get into in the Antwerp game. And also for a defence that's solid and who puts the challenges in, sometimes they just allow players to walk through. It's almost as if they're too scared to put the challenge in. We've highlighted it before, and it's a feature of our defence, unfortunately. But how can we have a go at our defence when we've been so good this year?
Yeah, I don't know if it's maybe a wee bit lackadaisical or not, or it is just like what you're saying, Derek. Maybe they're thinking to themselves, if I put a challenge in here, there's going to be a good chance that we're going to give away a foul or a penalty or something like that. I don't know. It's maybe in the back of their minds, but as I say, I tend to go with the sort of more lackadaisical side. They're maybe thinking to themselves, "Look, we've got this sewn up, and we've been let off the hook a couple of times now, and there was a few times in that game as well."
Yeah. 81st minute, Hadji off and Kamara on, and that was how the game rounded off. So it's like a lot of the games this second part of the season, they've been perfunctory, they've been fairly comfortable, not a lot happened in front of our goal. McGregor's pulled off the saves when he's needed to, and ultimately, bar a couple of chances, it was relatively comfortable, just we needed to work their keeper more. But as we keep saying, not every game's going to be glamorous and run out 5-0 winners or anything like that, so we'll take the 3 points any which way we can get them.
Derek, there is no team in world football that goes on to win a championship that doesn't win games 1-0 or 2-1 a lot of the time during the season. So it's all about us winning. It was all about us keeping another clean sheet, which we managed to do. So, games like that don't worry me at all. As long as we've still got the momentum and we do to keep going and keep getting the wins, it's all that matters.
Yep. So the controversial moment here we need to talk about is Roof. He was hit with a notice of a 2-game ban. When asked about it in the press conference a few days later, Gerrard stated that he hadn't thought at all about it because he was booked at the time and he thought that was it because the referee had dealt with it. But once again, we find that this is the second time this year where, as you said, trial by sports scene, our games have been re-refereed, which is absolutely fucking disgraceful. Rangers appealed and, in typical fashion, they lost. Contrast that, though, with Celtic at their game against Kilmarnock on the same weekend. Brown should have been sent off for a clear elbow. He then popped up a few minutes later to score their first goal. Yeah. Their second goal was a blatant dive for a penalty, and their third was about 2 yards offside. So refereeing decisions and linesman decisions once again going in their favour and not getting picked up. Brown never got a notice of a ban. That was specifically said they won't face any further action. Ayeti, who did dive for the goal for to win their penalty, was offered the ban. They appealed. Quelle surprise, the ban got lifted. For what reason? So this is what I don't understand. So you've been given a notice of complaint to say that you've dived, then the panel look at it again and it's a case of, there's no evidence there.
It's absolutely incredible. What annoys me is the fact that we get told that the Rangers got all the decisions and all that there. That is a complete farce. That is them basically not knowing what the rules are. Roof had been booked. The referee had dealt with it. That, by the law of the land is the end of it. But it's just, it's absolutely baffling. And we all knew that it was going to come, Derek. We all knew there would be such a stink made about it that for some way it would end up at the compliance officer and it would get reviewed. The manager, what he said about it as well, what Steven Gerrard said, it was absolutely right. It's a complete farce. And for that mob on the other side of the city to keep saying that they've not had anything this season, you've hit the nail right in the head with their game in particular. I hate to talking about them, Derek, but when we're talking about instances like this, honestly, it's quite incredible, isn't it?
I mean, I think there's about 4 or 5 games in a row now they've had game-changing decisions. Aberdeen should have had a penalty against them in the last game there, but for a clear handball, which the referee was right in front of, clear unobstructed view, was never given to Aberdeen. So, as you said, they claim that they never get decisions for them, but they always do. I mean, all we ask for is consistency, not special treatment, not any favours. As Gerard pointed out, worse offences have went unpunished in both the game and afterwards in terms of the compliance officer. As I said, it's now the second player from us that's been given a ban, despite the ref dealing with it on the pitch as well. And this is the thing about the compliance officer and the disciplinary procedure. It was only meant to be for violent incidents that the referee has missed. So in respect of the Morelos one a few weeks ago, where he's made a stamp and nothing's been done, that's fine. That's, as Gerard say, we can't defend that one. He's been at fault there, so we have no issue with that one there. However, this one, the referee dealt with it at the time, and it was clear there was no intent to go for the player at all. It wasn't violent. It was a mistimed bad challenge. The player wasn't even injured from the challenge as well. You've got to bear that in mind. Yep. So it's baffling. And then what was even funnier about it is the media and then fan outcry was laughable, because Ewan Murray for a start and that absolute no mark Tam McManus, all their take from this was that, well, so Gerrard's admitting that in 3 games they should have been down to 10 men early on in the game, but they got away with them in the game and they ended up winning the games 1-0. That is not the point, is it?
Ewan Murray is now starting to become a new version of Chris Sutton. He is trying everything that he can to just get a wind up to get a reaction. Derek, he was doing it the other night as well, popping up all the time. Again, I'm going to treat him with the same contempt that I do with Chris Sutton. He's just a wind up merchant that's looking for reaction to his tweets. So I'm not taking him seriously at all. As you say, who the fuck is Tam McManus? What's he got to do with anything to do with Rangers? Absolutely nothing. Showing his true colours yet again, trying to stir up shit as normal. I really, it's a farce. But unfortunately, these people are getting the limelight and they're getting, plenty of coverage. It's just that it sickens me that that folk like that are just desperate to try and put the boot in all the time. And as you said, what Steven Gerrard said was absolutely nothing like the way that Tam McManus was trying to portray it. Was it? Absolutely nothing at all.
And what's funny is that, remember the Dundee United challenge on Morelos, which left a big gash in his leg? There was a shot from the training the other day there, and you could see he's got a visible scar there. So a player has been left visibly scarred, no retrospective action, never mind no action on the park. It wasn't even deemed a foul at the time. So this is the kind of shit we're talking about here. Yep. In terms of the compliance officer, though, I would have kept this for the news, but since we're talking about this, the SFA have announced a new compliance officer. Andrew Phillips starts the 1st of March. He's a solicitor, or he was a solicitor advocate in criminal and regulatory defence at a Glasgow firm, and is able to practice law in New York State as well. So the only thing that they never said is, what school did he go to?
Well, Derek, there's already been, you're joking about that, but the amount of tweets and things that I've seen today that apparently is a rabid blue nose that's out to do everything he can to get Celtic. That's the stories already. It's quite incredible. There's folk had been members of certain Rangers supporters clubs and things like that. Just all the usual, but. We'll wait and see how that pans out, Derek. He surely can't do any worse than the last compliance officer, surely.
You know something, Dave? I really don't care if they were Celtic fans or not. We're just looking for a balanced playing field, and if you cannot be completely impartial in your job, despite of who your allegiances may lie with, then you're not fit for the job. And this is the thing about the compliance officer is, if you are going to re-referee games like that, then, as it's been said in other podcasts, why are they not looking through the games on the Monday? That's their job on the Monday, because I don't understand how much or what they actually get paid for. Do they just sit about waiting for somebody to email them? I mean, I think McGregor might have caused the last one to do overtime, but... I
think they just contact Radio Clyde, Derek. They tell them, you know what I mean?
I think so.
Quite incredible.
But anyway, we'll move on now because the next game was on Sunday the 7th of February. It was the disappointing 1-1 draw away against Hamilton in the Premiership. 3 changes from the St Johnstone game: Jack, Davis and Roof out, Zungu, Kamara and Itten in. On the subs bench we had McLaughlin, Bassey, Simpson, Jack, Davis, Patterson, Wright, Roof and Balogun.
Keep it brief, Derek.
Aye, and generally I think we were lucky to escape with a point in this game because Hamilton I felt were by far the better team. They certainly had the better chances. They were more up for it than we were. It was just a lacklustre performance from us.
It was, yes, but I'll let you get into the game, Derek.
Yep. 6-minute quick break down the left from a throw. Kent drives the ball from the halfway line into the box on the left, tried to cut it back but too close to the keeper who comfortably gathered. 14th minute, lots of possession going forward. Got the ball on the left, worked to Hadji in the middle in space and hits a shot from 25 yards out on the wide and left post. 34th minute, great skill from Aribo, who receives the ball from 30 yards from goal on the right, drives inwards with the ball, hits a curler from the edge of the box and goes just wide of the left post. 36th minute, Helander takes a heavy touch at the edge of the box after Golson played a very poor square ball to him. The attacker got the ball, drove forward to the left, tried to shoot at an angle, but McGregor managed to narrow down the angle and got a foot to it and then put it out for the corner. Just again a poor mistake there, a really heavy... you can almost forgive the heavy touch because it was a really poor ball that was played to him in the first place, but once again McGregor come to their rescue. 40th minute, looping header from Golson after a corner from the right. It was an easy take for the keeper. 44th minute, Tavernier with a free kick on the edge of the box, up and over the wall but over the bar as well. So a disappointing first half. Really, I don't think we had much to write home about. They had the better chance certainly in the first half.
They did, Derek, and it was one of those games, and we always seem to have it round about this time. We certainly have the last 2 seasons where we're playing the team at the bottom of the table or near the bottom of the table, that our players just seem to think that they just have to turn up and win. But Hamilton, to be fair to them, were well up for it, Derek, and we were getting absolutely nothing from them. And I just felt there was just something totally lacking, especially in the fight, in the final third. It was frustrating, wasn't it? There was no real sort of grit for the players. Even the sort of closing down in midfield that we usually have just wasn't there at all. It was just really lacklustre.
Bearing in mind, I think we put 8 past them the last time we played them as well, so it's disappointing. Went to the second half expecting come out the traps firing. 45th minute, quick break down the left. Kent hits a bullet of a shot but hits the side netting. 54th minute, a fantastic double save from McGregor after their attacker gets the break of the ball off Tavernier. First time shot saved by McGregor. The ball broke off Helander into the path of the second attacker who was in the box, blasted the shot and McGregor saved with his legs. The ball was eventually cleared for the corner. Living dangerously once again, and again Hamilton having a great chance to score.
Yep.
59th minute, Zungu off and Jack on. 61st minute, Aribo on the right, cuts inside, hits a shot at the edge of the box, but a poor effort. 62nd minute, ball on the left for Hamilton, long cross into the box at the far side. The attacker has a shot. McGregor had to make a save with his legs at the near post. Again, could have been a dangerous one there. 65th minute, Itten off and Roof on. 73rd minute, some good play ending and Jack getting a great ball to Kent in the box who hits a shot, but it was straight as a die just by the post. A wee bit of curl on it and it would have nestled into the bottom corner, so kind of unlucky that one there. 77th minute, free kick just outside the box for Hamilton, right through the gap, and McGregor had to make a good dive and save to put it out of the corner. 78th minute, Hadji and Kamara off, Wright and Davis on, and 2 minutes later we went 1-0 up with an OG of all things. A lovely work ball down the left with Davis playing a superb ball into space for Barisic on the left. He puts in a cross and it comes off the knee of the defender and into the back of the net. As I said before, I don't care how they come, I'll take them any which way they come. However, 14 minutes later, it was all undone because Hamilton, in the last, more or less the last kick of the ball, they put the ball in the back of the net and drew level. Ball down the left side, cross into the box, header from the attacker who was in space. That's as simple as that. It was poor defending again, no marking, nobody willing to put the challenge in, just a poor goal to lose all the time. And certainly we got what we deserved, I think, in this game. And I think we got more than we deserved, certainly on the basis of play.
Yeah, Hamilton deserved it, Derek. You're absolutely correct. They were still going for it at the end of the game, and we weren't. We thought that we had got away with it. We thought that the game was wrapped up. Our players just didn't look in the mood at all. They didn't look interested, which is strange. And we did get everything we deserved there. I don't think any Rangers fans out there at all can honestly turn around and say that we were unlucky or anything like that. I don't think I've seen anything like that on Twitter either. Just bitterly disappointed at the standard of defending right to the end of the game. And as I say, Hamilton did deserve it, and it was disappointing. But as you say, I texted you after it because I know that we were quite disappointed. But I said to you, with the way that we were playing, I would have taken a draw in that game, and the fact that we were still unbeaten, because we didn't deserve to win it at all. Just a game I was hoping that we would move on from quickly, and the team would move on from quickly to try and get another victory. But I thought it was quite incredible the amount of fans out there as well, though, that were really panicking with the fact that we didn't win, Derek. Considering how far ahead that we are in the league, and they're still panicking. You know what I mean? So it was a poor game, but one that they needed to move on from very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Alan McGregor after the game was absolutely brilliant, and you just know he had taken the dressing room apart afterwards as well. Yeah. Stated in the post-match interview that we were rubbish, said it that bluntly, and most of the game we were very, very poor, and it's the worst he's seen us. He's right, because as I said, we were lucky to get away with a point, but anyway, we couldn't let our heads go down because we were right into the next game. It's Saturday the 13th of February. It was a 1-0 win at home against Kilmarnock in the Premiership. In this game, no actually many things to talk about, to be honest. 3 changes from the Hamilton game. We lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun, Barisic, Jack, Davis, Kent, Aribo, Hadji and Itten. On the subs bench were McLaughlin, Bassey, Helander, Defoe, Patterson, Kamara, Wright, Arfield and Stewart. 16th minute, a lovely work to play with Itten holding the ball up well, passing to Tavernier on the right. Tavernier passes inwards, received the ball back and shoots into the net at a tight angle, but was ruled offside. RTV were absolutely shocking in their replays again. Certainly on play, I thought he was just onside. Just once again, something that was ruled out that potentially should have been in.
Yeah.
26th minute, Hadji with a free kick from 20 yards on the left-hand side, up and over the wall but wide. And then on the 37th minute, an absolute stunning goal from Ryan Jack. The ball was in the box, a bit of a scramble. We had a shot, but it was blocked, flicked up and played out to Jack on the outside of the box. It was off the deck at this time. He controlled it with his first touch, kept it off the ground, and then with a curling volley into the post to stamp. Just what execution that was.
Sensational, Derek. That's exactly what it was, sensational. And probably the last player on the field, apart from our 2 centre halves, that you would expect to have the technique and the tenacity to try and pull something like that off. But it was absolutely sensational. Really, really fantastic goal. We've scored a lot of incredible goals this season, but that's right up there. Goalkeeper had absolutely no chance. And again, I keep saying it, a goal worthy of winning any game, but we thought at that point that was just going to be the start of it, Derek, because we were certainly playing a lot better than we had the week before.
Yep. 40th minute, Kent picks up the ball, drives it forward 15 yards and hits a shot. Keeper saved and over the bar. Better from Kent there from what we've seen in the past.
Yep.
So into the second half, looking for a wee bit more again from the players. 45th minute, a quick break from the kick-off with Kent getting down the left-hand side into the box. Takes a shot at an angle but gathered by the keeper. 49th minute, Aribo drives the ball forward, slides it to Kent on the left, who drives it forward into the box and gets a shot off. Forces the keeper into a good save and out for the corner. 62nd minute, Jack drives it forward from midfield, passes to Itten at the edge of the box, who turns it and hits a shot, but a comfortable save from the keeper. So at least in the second half, making the keeper work a wee bit, which is good to see. 78th minute, Hadji off and Wright on. So I think, was this Wright's debut for us, or was it his second appearance?
No, I think this was his debut, Derek.
84th minute, ball played from midfield, beats the high line. Kent could have took it on himself, but unselfishly passed it to Aribo at the edge of the box, who was in space. He took a touch, perhaps too heavy, pokes it towards goal. I think it was going wide, but the keeper made a save in any case to put it out for the corner. I think Aribo should have really done better there and just blasted it first time rather than taking the touch, which was a bit heavy. 87th minute, clumsy from Balogun at the edge of our box. It was a tangle with him and the other attacker. Maybe lucky not to give away a free kick there, but as usual, folk claiming it was a penalty. It was fucking about 3 yards outside the box.
Yeah, Definitely.
Just craziness again from the Hordes. 88th minute, Kent off and Arfield on, and the last piece of play was in the 90th minute was the fact that 4 minutes of injury time was given. Again, no idea whatsoever where the 4 minutes came from.
I know, exactly.
I think that was similar in the first half as well. I think they gave 4 minutes, so baffling there. But again, glad to see out the win. Kilmarnock obviously going through a transition with I think this is Tommy Wright's first game in charge as well. Since coming.
Yep.
In typical fashion, they had signed Lafferty as well, but I don't think he was match ready as well to play us. But
he was certainly in the stands having a laugh and joke with Kirk Broadfoot, so we saw that put plenty in the game when we were watching it. But it was definitely there.
Yeah. So just again another 1-0 win. This is the thing. I don't think Kilmarnock had any shots on target, and we were nervous, especially going into the last 10 minutes. And
I know.
We didn't need to be, because we wrapped it up and the defence done their job, and know that Kilmarnock really done much with it anyway.
Derek, until we get this league wrapped up, I don't think there's any Rangers fans out there that can actually relax during a game. I think we've just got so many scars for the last few seasons that it's difficult to relax in a game. Like I told you tonight, when your 14-year-old son's telling you to calm down because he's worried that you're going to blooming collapse in the ground. It's I'm afraid that's just what happens when you're a Rangers supporter, So it's one of these things. But as you say, looking back at the vast majority of these games that we've won narrowly, we've never been in any trouble. And as you say, Kilmarnock didn't cause any problems for us at all. So a comfortable win in the end, even although it was just by one goal.
Yeah. So before we get into the game of madness here, I'll cover the league table, because we've played 29, won 25, drawn 4, lost 0, scored 69, conceded still only 8, goal difference plus 61, and we're on 79 points. Celtic won their game in hand, so we're 15 ahead of Celtic, and we're a 90 plus 19 better goal difference. So I think I worked it out that we could technically draw every single game we've got left. That's including the 2 Old Firm games against Celtic, and as long as they never won their other games emphatically by 5-0 each time, we would win the league in goal difference. So we could technically draw every single game. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, but we've got a tough run of games coming up shortly, which we'll get into. But
we keep saying it all the time. We had the period of matches that we came through in January, including the Old Firm game, where we said if we could win those games, those 5 or 6 games, then we would think that would be enough for us to do it. We're still miles ahead of them. I think everybody needs to calm down, and we just do need to concentrate one game at a time. But I will give our supporters credit on social media, because we know how mad it gets. It has been a lot more calm recently than it has been, in previous weeks. I think everybody is starting to, just take it one game at a time, which is great, which is what we should be doing. And we are winning these games one game at a time, Derek. And so we should be. We've got the best squad. We've got the best players. Bring on the next league game. Let's go out there and win it. And that brings it down, because I think, Derek, is it only if we win our next game, is it only technically 3 victories that we need to win the league after that? If we were to win our next 4 games in a row, then that's us won the league. So I was told. So I don't know how accurate that is, but as I say, if it is, we just need to concentrate on one game at a time. And I think the manager's instilled that philosophy into the players as well, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get into the game of absolute madness now.
The roller coaster that is Rangers.
Yes, so it was tonight, Thursday the 18th of February, a 4-3 win away against Royal Antwerp in the Europa League Last 32, Leg 1. 5 changes from the Kilmarnock game: McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Helander, Barisic, Davis, Kamara, Arfield, Aribo, Roof and Morelos. On the subs bench were McLaughlin, Simpson, Hadji, Jack, Itten, Ken, Wright, Stewart and Balogun. So the starting lineup was a fairly attacking one, I felt, wasn't it?
Quite a strange lineup, Derek. I was sitting thinking to myself, what is it that he's going to try and do here? Is he going to still play 3 up front and have Aribo as a front 3? Is he going to do what he'd done, near the start of the season and play Arfield playing on the right hand side just up front? I'm very surprised to see Kent drop to the bench because, I know he's not been absolutely outstanding, but he's still one of your main players. So I don't know what was happening there, if it was down to tactics or not. So a bit of a strange team, I thought, but it's one of these things. I wasn't sure if he was going to change the formation or not. Just that was strange with the change of personnel like that.
Yeah. So on the third minute, Tavernier floats the ball into the box. The defender got a touch with his arm right into the path of Goldson. The defender was right on him, so he had to hit a quick shot, and the shot was over the bar. Referee did stop the game for a VAR check for the handball, and they ruled it not a handball.
It's clear a handball, as you'll see, Derek. I was quite taken aback. I don't know what your view of it was.
Yeah, I mean, his arm was certainly down by his side, but it changed the path of the ball. So I've no idea what the fuck the handball rule is now, because it seems to get changed every single time depending on who we play, who's the referee, what competition we're in. This is now even VAR that's looking at it, and they deemed that not a handball. It's absolutely baffling. But, there's strike one against referees in VAR tonight. 8th minute was a shot from Arfield from 25 yards, but it went well over the bar. The move started from a poor kick out from their keeper that was intercepted. Good link-up play between Roof and Aribo and Morelos to get the ball forward to Arfield in the first place. 9th minute was a quick break by Antwerp getting the ball to the right. A dangerous cross on the deck. McGregor gathered it, but had a poor throw out from there. The ball was intercepted. The ball played forward, and the attacker had a shot on the left-hand side, but it was wide. McGregor had it covered anyway, but just poor from McGregor there. Just a wee bit of calmness needed, I think, there, and wouldn't have had that second potential chance. 14th minute, Tavernier gets a shot from distance, but went well over the bar. Mastream went down for a minute there. 18th minute, quick break up the park by Antwerp. Got down the right-hand side. Barisic slipped in the box, allowing the attacker to get further forward into the box. Got the ball across, but the defence dealt with it well. 19th minute, it was a shot come cross from Antwerp on the right side of our box. McGregor left it as I think he thought it was going wide, but it was dipping and it nearly went in. I think it was only inches away from going into the top bin, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in at that stage though, Derek, you were thinking, how's this game going to go? Because Antwerp were right in it at that point, but coming up the next stage of the first half, that was when I thought started coming really into the game after this.
Yeah. But it's really disappointing here, and it's worrying here, as Tavernier had to go off on the 23rd minute. Balogun came on.
Now,
it appeared to be like a clash of knees between the two players. Completely accidental. It was a 50-50. He tried to run it off, but he couldn't. And as it's been mentioned by the gaffer, is Tavernier doesn't come off when he's injured, so it's pretty worrying, that one there. Yes. He normally runs these things off, so we'll need to wait and see the outcome of that one. We'll get into it shortly, but Patterson, what a silly boy.
Exactly, Derek. I know that we'll be talking about this after the game, but that laddie, if he's not sitting watching that game with his head in his hands tonight, absolutely devastated after seeing that, because that could have been a huge opportunity for him. And, he's a fantastic player. He would have slotted in there, no problem. That would have been a great game for him to play in, because it was very open, especially going forward, and he's just completely fucked it, hasn't he?
Yeah, but we'll get into that later on.
Yeah, no, I know.
29th minute, lovely ball down the left to Morelos, who was in space. He goes 1v1 with the keeper. Keeper done well to come out and make a save. Ball comes back out to Roof at a distance, but he puts it well wide. Morelos should have done a lot better there. There seems to be a tendency from our players when they're going 1v1 to hit it low and try and slide it past the keeper. Just fucking blast it, Yeah. However, on the 38th minute, we went 1-0 up with Aribo scoring. A fantastic long ball up by Goldson, a long diagonal ball up from midfield to Roof. Roof got a touch. I don't think he actually done much with it, to be honest. The keeper came out, he spilled it. A lovely piece of play from Morelos to dinks it over the keeper's arms, laid it off to Aribo, who placed the shot from 25 yards into basically an empty net. Just brilliant all round. Great vision by Goldson. Even better from Morelos to dink the ball away for the keeper as well to find Aribo. Brilliant.
Yep, I was disappointed with Roof, Derek, because I honestly thought that he slowed down when he was going for the ball. You might disagree, but thank goodness that Alfredo Morelos was there, because there was nobody else was going to win that ball when it came back out. He was winning that, and the fact that he didn't just go thundering, and as you say, he actually managed to play the pass back to Aribo The vision was outstanding and a great finish by Aribo, and fantastic at that stage for us to be going 1-0 up in the game. And, we were really pushing for it then, Derek. So we were, by far, the best team. It was a great period in the game for us at that point.
Yeah. However, it was all done a few minutes later because in the 45th minute, Antwerp drew level and made it one each. It was a free kick from 30 yards on the right. It was floated into the middle of the box, completely unmarked attacker. Granted, he had an absolutely lovely glancing header into the top left corner, but the marking was absolutely shocking. I mean, he had at least a foot either side of him in free space, no players next to him at all, and allowed him to jump up and get that header. Great execution, but he shouldn't have been in that position in the first place.
Derek, I don't know what your feelings are. I personally think McGregor could have done a much better job as well. The defence were shocking to allow him to be unmarked, but for a guy to get a header like that for the edge of the box, for it to go right past, I thought McGregor was too far out for his goal. I think if it had been a step back, he might have had the chance to get to it, but he was just completely stranded. So I'm putting blame on both parts here. I'm putting blame on the really shocking marking and defending, and I'm also putting a bit of blame on Alan McGregor as well, which, we can't slag the guy off. He's been absolutely sensational, but if we're being honest, I thought that the both goalkeeper and defenders were at fault for that one. Just a poor goal to lose, especially since we'd just scored, and it really wasn't deserved because we were by far the better team at that point. Just
after they scored the goal, the injury time went up and it was for 4 minutes. Don't know where they got the 4 minutes from, to be honest, but Roof went off injured as well on the 47th minute. The man is made of glass, it seems, always constantly getting injured. We tried to bring Kent on, but inexplicably the ref wouldn't allow it to happen, and despite the play being stopped at the time. So don't know what that was all about for the ref there, just poor refereeing. Kent did eventually come on the 50th minute, 5 minutes into 4 minutes injury time, and then on the 6th minute of injury time a penalty was given to Antwerp. I'm absolutely incensed with this because it was a clear dive every day of the week. Davis tries to go for the ball in the box. He tried to stick. He tried to make a tackle. Did he make contact with the legs of the attacker? Absolutely he did. But the boy clearly flung himself down. Now VAR checked it and gave the penalty as well. An absolute joke. He got challenged on his right side, I think, and he threw himself down on his left side. Doesn't make sense whatsoever.
It was absolutely shocking, Derek. I mean, you're saying, was there contact? If there was contact there, Derek, it was as minimal contact as you could possibly get. It was right in front of the referee as well. The referee could see that right there that there was hardly anything in it whatsoever. And as you say, for the guy to dive the complete opposite way, for the way that his body should have moved, should have shown the referee again that there was no way that was a penalty. And as you say, VAR is a fantastic idea if it's getting used the right way, and that's definitely not, because if it's given a penalty for that, then that's an absolute farce. And for us to be the better team in the game, for them to have scored that penalty so late on and for the circumstances, it made the first half a complete farce, especially the end. So, quite rightly, we were all absolutely raging at that point.
Yeah. So up they step and they scored the penalty to make it 2-1, and shortly after that the half-time whistle blew. So I think in the first half overall, a lot to be happy about and a lot to be angry about as well. It was I would say we probably shaded the half as well.
We did, Derek. We definitely shaded it half. I thought the second part of the first half we were by far the better team. What I was hoping for the second half was the fact that we knew that we could score against this team, and I was also looking for a big reaction from the likes of Ryan Kent, who had been dropped for the game. He was now getting an opportunity to play a whole half in this game, so I was looking for him to have a big second half, and thankfully he did.
So in the second half, 53rd minute, quick break up the park, ending in Aribo having a shot cleared off what I thought was the line initially, but I think it was more a case of it was going wide and the defender did clear it just in case anyway. 56th minute, Antwerp keeper stretched and appeared to injure himself, possibly wasting time too, I think, like you said as well on the text there. They were looking to bring a substitute keeper on at the time, but he wasn't ready, and I don't think he came off until later on in the game as well, which was weird. In that same passage of play, though, there was big claims for a foul on Morelos in the box. I never noticed much of it at the time. The play raged on at that point, and then on the 57th minute, nearly 2 minutes after the actual event, the referee stops the play to check VAR, and it was clear there was a clear shirt pull on Morelos inside the box, and a penalty was given. The referee never gave it at the time, and as I said, our players were going mental at the time. So looking back on it, the good guys were doing VAR this time.
Exactly, and to be fair to the team, I think they know how unfairly, the first penalty decision went against. You could hear it as clear as day. All of them screaming at the referee, saying it was a penalty, and thankfully it was reviewed. And as you say, it was a clear penalty. It was pulled back. So. Yeah.
But what I want to know, and I've not read up in the rules if there's been a specific rule highlighted for this, but what would have happened if in that passage of play, when Antwerp were going forward, what happens if they had scored? What happens then? I'm sure I would like to think that there's rules for that, but
surely it would be pulled back, and the goal wouldn't be allowed to stand, Derek, because it was getting reviewed, and then the game was stopped. So I would like to think that the game, but again, I'm just assuming these things.
I mean, this is where I was having a discussion with an NFL fan in my work today, and I know you like your NFL. Yep. Watching the Super Bowl a couple of weekends ago, there was a couple of decisions where the referee did stop for the NFL's version of VAR to review it, and they did stop the game for a good couple of minutes. And NFL lends itself to that because there's so many stoppages in the game anyway. Football isn't like that, but at the same time, you can't have play raging on and then they pull the game back to give a decision. It just seems off for me.
I didn't think that VAR was going to be like the replays they have in the NFL, and I'm glad you mentioned the Super Bowl, Derek, because my team I cheer on won it, so it was fantastic. I had a great night. But I honestly didn't think that our VAR was going to be like that. I had it in my head that there were going to be two referees or ex-referees sitting in a booth in the stadium watching the game and being able to replay it, and they would be able to directly send a message to the referee to say VAR reviewed, penalty, and the referee would have an earpiece in and he would be able to stop the play within 5 or 10 seconds of the incident happening, to be able to do that. But this whole thing where the referee's got to run off to the and review it himself, and it gets completely stopped, and it's 3 or 4 minutes after the game, it's a complete farce to me, Derek. I don't know why it couldn't be done the way that I thought it was, if you've actually got referees reviewing the game and saying no, he's missed that one, that's a definite penalty or whatever. It wouldn't take long to do it, and that's honestly how I thought it was. And it's a complete farce, isn't it? It's ruining the, what's the word I'm looking
fluidity.
For? Yes, and the spontaneous ways that the game should be played. And it's, as I say, it could have been done a lot better, Derek. So, but we're not complaining because it was a penalty, so that was great. So,
just on the VAR, I've kind of, when I heard about VAR coming in, I wanted it to be like tennis, the Hawkeye system, where you get a certain amount of challenges each half or something like that, and if you win your challenge and you're proven right, then you get to keep your challenge, and then if you lose,
that's like the NFL, Derek. If you put a challenge in and stuff like that, you lose it, you end up losing one of your timeouts and stuff like that. That's kind of what they do there. But I don't know. I think it definitely needs to be looked at. I think it could certainly be speeded up a lot more than it is. But it is what it is at the moment. And we cry out for these decisions a lot of the times when things are missed against us. So as I say, thankfully at that occasion it worked for us.
Yeah, I mean, as I said on Twitter, it's only as useful as the Muppets that are actually reviewing the tapes in the first place. So if you've got folk who can't do their job there, then there's no hope, is there?
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, as you said, we got the penalty, and up steps Barisic and scores to make it 2 each. He put the ball to the right side. The keeper got his hand to it. Bear in mind, he's still allegedly injured at this point, but he scored nonetheless. So all brilliant.
Yep.
63rd minute, a stunning tackle in the middle of the park by Goldson to regain possession, sends the ball forward down the right, ending up in Arfield having a shot at an angle on the right hand side, but the keeper gathered. Decent move and a great great by Goldson there. Just you seen him when he put a crunching challenge in, but he got all of the ball, and he actually looked up at the referee straight off, and he pointed over to look at the ball. I got the ball. 64th minute, Arfield got a yellow card for a high foot in the Antwerp box, despite it actually not being that high, and the defender lowered his head as well. A referee having an absolute nightmare in this game.
Yep, totally.
However, on the 63rd minute, Antwerp went 3-2. A break of the ball for Antwerp off Arfield on the edge of the box. A simple square ball to the middle, just outside the box, to the attacker, who was in absolute acres of space at this point. He even had time to compose himself and put a curling shot in off the left-hand post and into the back of the net. Again, the marking, just abysmal.
It was a stunning strike, Derek, but he should never have been able to pull the shot off. That is what annoys me the most about the whole thing, was the fact that he was, as you say, he was allowed to get the ball, he was allowed to control it, and he was allowed to run with nobody going anywhere near him, and he was able to pick his spot. McGregor, I can't say anything about him because he was, he was rooted to the spot, and it was right in off the post. But just really shocking marking, and I was pleased in the first half with our play in midfield, closing people down. Well, it was the complete opposite for that goal. There was no closing down whatsoever, and it is easy a goal as somebody would score against us. And really disappointing at that stage, Derek. And at that, when that went in, I was ready for punching holes in the wall. It was just so frustrating.
Yep. We made a couple of substitutions at that point. 74th minute, Kamara and Arfield off, Hadji and Jack on. 75th minute, the Antwerp keeper finally was subbed off and a new youngster came on. 80th minute, a lot of possession, worked the ball into the left to Barisic, who plays a fantastic cross to the near post. Hadji makes great connection with it, but he puts it just wide. It was just too straight hit, unfortunately.
I know, it was a great move, and he hit it well. It was just past the post. It must have only been a couple of inches past. Really, really unlucky there.
Yeah. At this point, we were really starting to find our feet. I think they were starting to wane a wee bit, and we were getting all the possession and having the chances. And that paid dividends on the 83rd minute because Kent scored an absolute peach of a goal. The ball was worked from a throw-in on the left-hand side near the goal. Kent gets the ball, feeds it to, I think it was Morelos, who passes back to him outside the box. He then decides to go on a mazy run, works his way into the box, past about 3 defenders, cuts inside and blasts the ball high into the back of net. That's the Kent we've seen. That's the Kent we actually signed in the first place. Fantastic goal.
Yep, and if Ryan Kent now goes on a run of games where he's absolutely outstanding on the back of being dropped, then I will take my hat off to Steven Gerrard for doing that. It's maybe the wee sort of kick up the bum that he was looking for. I was hoping and praying that he was going to a reaction from him when he was going to get the whole of the second half, and I'm so glad we did. It was a tremendous goal, Derek. You could see that he was in the mood as well, because he had a few times that he was demanding the ball and running at the defenders. And as you say, the whole move was tremendous. And again, Alfredo Morelos, although he didn't score, Derek, sets up 2, wins a penalty. And a tremendous goal for Kent, and that was us back level at that point, no more than we had deserved.
Yep, absolutely. And I did hear that I think Kent maybe had a wee niggling injury, which is the reason why he was dropped. So I don't know if that was right or no. But this is the thing with Kent. You see, he plays one great game like he did tonight, and then when he came on, and then he fades off, and that's the disappointing thing with Kent this year so far. But we'll need to wait and see if it kicks him into play, as you said.
Certainly hope so. Yep.
85th minute, ball fed to Kent on the left-hand side, and he hits a shot, saved by the keeper. He really should have buried it there. He was one-on-one with him. The ball was then quickly up the other end of the park. A mistake by Aribo lets the attacker in on goal. 1v1 McGregor, who pulls off another great save with his legs and eventually cleared. So just the game was in balance at that point. We could have scored at 1 minute, and then right up the park the next minute they could have scored. So it was all to play for. 86th minute, a goalmouth scramble in our box with a shot by their attacker at the back post, which is blocked. Again, living dangerously. However, on the 87th minute, it was another penalty to us after a handball in the box and a second yellow card for their defender as well. It was a clear handball after Kent had a shot.
A fantastic position at that stage for us to, win the game, Derek. So I don't know about you, I was on the edge of my seat. I couldn't watch the screen, biting my nails. And, it was at that point that my son told me to calm down and just wait and see what happened. But I'll let you get into it.
Yeah, so upsets Barisic again. We were worried about, not having Tavernier taking penalties. It's just ironic. We've never had a penalty since Tavernier missed his second penalty in a row there. And, we get 2 penalties in the same game and he's off injured. So, but upsets Barisic, cool as you like, and puts it to the right-hand side, sending the keeper the wrong way. Fantastic.
Superb, Derek. And again, I keep saying it, we deserved to be winning this game because I thought we're the best team. There was a few defensive mistakes and worries, but I did think the balance that we were the better team and we deserved it. Just an incredible roller coaster of a match, and the fact that there was going to be even more time added on after the game, which I'm sure you're going to get into as well, was baffling, and I just couldn't handle it. I was totally up and down. But as I say, just great to be back winning the game at that late on in the game, and hoping and praying that we could just hold out and get it. But watching Rangers not pass the ball back, not try to be boring, constantly trying to go forward, it's like you're screaming at the TV telling them just to hold on to the ball for God's sake. But it's quite incredible.
Yeah, I mean, just madness. And then, as you said, 6 minutes of injury time given. I just don't know where they got the 6 minutes from. I know their keeper was down injured for a wee bit, but I think he was a referee that was adding on definitely the 30 seconds for every substitute, and just madness. And I think he even went into 8 minutes as well of injury time, which was craziness. On the 94th minute, the last piece of play in the game, though, there was a shot from Antwerp outside the box and it hit the outside of our right-hand post and out of play. So, again, I'm lucky there, but, we'll take it. And it's just an absolute madness game. Delighted with the victory there, and what's more there is we've got 4 away goals.
Derek, it was sensational. The game is quite incredible. As I say, we've been going on about it constantly. You'll not see another game like that. We thought we'd seen it all with the 3-3 game with Benfica, but thankfully we went one better in that game. It was just incredible. But take away the actual game itself, Derek, it's another European victory away from home for the team. So that is quite incredible. What Steven Gerrard has accomplished, for us playing in Europe is unbelievable. And here's hoping that we get more of a plain sailing match at Ibrox and we get through to the next round after that.
Yep, certainly all to play for. So the games that we've got coming up is Sunday the 21st of February at home to Dundee United in the Premiership. That's a 1500 kick-off. Then the return leg at Ibrox, it's in the 25th of February at home to Royal Antwerp in the second leg of the last 32 game. That's a 1755 kick-off. Really strange this time though, I noticed that normally the away games are at 1755 and the home games are at 8 o'clock, so I don't know what's changed there. Wednesday the 3rd of March away to Livingston in the Premiership. That's going to be another big game. They're obviously in good form just now. That's a 1800 kick-off. Saturday the 6th of March at home to St Mirren. Again, another team who are fairly in form now. That's a 1500 kick-off. And the game that could potentially wrap up the title, Sunday the 21st of March away against Celtic in the Premiership. That's a midday kick-off. So Celtic, unfortunately, have had a wee vein of form just now, even though I read some of the reports, they've been a bit lucky at times, and they've had decisions go their way when they shouldn't have, but they've found their winning feet again. We just need to keep on doing what we're doing. As difficult it might be over this run, we just need to keep going.
Yeah, I don't think I've speaking to a guy in the workplace, Derek, that supports that mob, but he did say that they are certainly not playing well, even although they're getting the victories. He's not feeling confident at all for when he plays Rangers at Parkhead. But again, you know what happens in the Old Firm games. We can't say that, but I would like to think that if it got down to that, Derek, then our players would be so up for it to try and get the victory. So we'll wait and see what happens, Derek. Here's hoping that we are in that position by the time we go to play them, that we have won all of our games, and we've got that 1-1 there. But we'll wait and see.
Yep. So we'll now go into the classic match.
And then it is. The final whistle's gone. Rangers have won the European Cup Winners' Cup.
So, Dave, I gave you a 8-goal thriller in the last game, and you've contrasted that this week with a 1-goal thriller.
But what a 1-goal thriller it is, though, Derek. Let's be honest. Talking about our rivals there, I have picked a game from the same season as that game, and obviously I'm talking about 11 years ago, and it was a match that more or less secured the league championship for Rangers. It was on the 28th of February 2010 where we took on Celtic at Ibrox. Now, Rangers on that day lined up with McGregor in goals, Davy Weir, Papac, Stephen Whittaker, Majid Bugera in defence, Lee McCulloch, Steve Davis, Kevin Thompson and Kyle Lafferty, who was playing on the right hand side for us, and then Chris Boyd and Kenny Miller up front. The Celtic team that day: Boric, Hinkle, Braffield, Thomas Rongya, Thompson, Nguemo, Scott Brown, Aidan McGeady, Fortuny, Kamara, and of course the signing that they brought in to try and win the league, the big signing that they brought in being Robbie Keane, the player that they thought was going to come in and deliver them the league. So this was a huge game for Rangers. We were, I think, possibly 7 or 8 points clear at this time. Celtic really had to get the victory today to keep the league championship alive. Anything for Rangers, even a draw, would have been a good result, but the game certainly didn't disappoint. Early chance for Celtic, where Robbie Keane actually picked the ball up for the edge of the box. He shot, but Alan McGregor makes a easy save. Kevin Thompson, though, wanted to make his presence felt early in the game and had a bit of a hard tackle, shall we say, on Robbie Keane. He was desperate for Keane to know that he was there in the game. And then on the 5th minute, Steve Davis then raced forward, sees Chris Boyd and plays a fantastic through ball for Boyd. Boyd takes it wide of Boric. It hits a shot right into the side net and really unlucky there. And then for the next sort of 15 minutes, it was more of a sort of midfield battle. No real chances there. But then on the 25th minute, unfortunately, Lee McCulloch was injured, and he was actually injured by one of his own players. There was a tackle in the middle of the park, and he collided with one of his own players. I think, again, it was Kevin Thompson. So Lee McCulloch, unfortunately, had to come off, and he was substituted for our American internationalist Maurice Edu. 26 minutes was a free kick to Rangers. The ball into the Celtic half. It was cleared back in. Kenny Miller jumps up, and it was Nguemo with a high boot. Miller puts his hand up, the ball skiffs, then it falls down to Edu. He volleys the ball into the net, but the goal was disallowed for the handball for Kenny Miller. Really, if it skiffed, it just skiffed and no more. We all thought it was a goal. Everybody was jumping about. It was Edu's first touch. We thought that he had volleyed Rangers into the lead, but unfortunately it was disallowed. And then just a few minutes later, Thompson wins the ball in midfield for Rangers. He had a blinder of a game. He passes the ball to Chris Boyd in his own half. Then Chris Boyd, he spots Kenny Miller running through towards the Celtic goal. He plays a fantastic ball up to Miller. He races and hits the shot for the edge of the box. Saved by Boric. It spun away towards the goal, but he managed to pick the ball up just before it went over the line. A great chance and a great move. Then into the closing stages of the first half, Fortuny shoots just wide of Alan McGregor's post, and then Chris Boyd just after that, he's fed the ball inside the 6-yard box by Sasa Papac down the left hand side. He shoots. It's a fantastic save by Boric, but it was ruled offside regardless. And then right before half time, Kyle Lafferty, he gets the ball on the left hand side, cuts inside, it shoots just for the edge of the box, but it's just over the bar. And it was just after that the referee blew the half-time whistle. So it was Rangers with the bulk of possession in the game. Derek, Kevin Thompson, absolutely fantastic in midfield, winning every ball in there, but still 0-0 at that stage. Into the second half, straight away, a fantastic early chance for Rangers. Kyle Lafferty on the left wing this time. He sees Steve Davis ghosting into the box, and he puts a fantastic sort of dinked chip ball right over the defender. Steve Davis manages to lose his man at the back post, but he leans back too much and hits the ball right over the top of the goalkeeper and away out to the wing and just over, but as I say, by about 10 yards. He would have been really disappointed with that because, as I say, if he hadn't leant back so much, it would have been a certain goal. And then 3 chances after that, straight away, Whittaker with the ball in for the edge of the box, on the ground to Chris Boyd. He shoots, it's blocked by the defender. It comes back to Morris Edu in the box. He shoots, blocked by the other defender. Comes back to Kyle Lafferty. He shoots, it's blocked again. But in that melee, it looked as if Morris Edu was brought down in the box. No penalty given, so everybody incensed at that. But at this stage, it was all Rangers. 55th minute, Davy Weir wins the ball in his own half. He plays a great ball to Steve Davis, who runs at the defence and shoots low, and it's saved by Boris. But he can only save it back to Steve Davis again from close range. He shoots and it's saved again by Boric and cleared. So Rangers really ramped up the pressure, but we couldn't get it. But then only 10 minutes later, it was a red card for Celtic's Scott Brown with a shocking challenge on Kyle Lafferty. So Celtic down to 10 men. So Rangers really the better team here, putting the pressure on. Celtic down to 10 men. So we could sense that something was going to happen at this stage, Derek. Then in the 78th minute, a cross in by Whittaker, cleared in the box. It comes back to Whittaker again. He puts another cross into Nacho Novo, who was now on as a substitute in the box, but a last-ditch tackle by the Celtic defender, and they managed to get the ball away and cleared, so really unlucky there. And then again, this was the 82nd minute, Sasa Papac with a fantastic ball into the box. It falls perfectly for Edu, who shoots over the bar from about 10 yards. That's when we thought it's running away from us. We might have to stick to a draw here. But as I say, at this point, Derek, a point was good enough for us. A point was no good for Celtic. So moving into right at the end of the game, Nacho Novo, he manages to get the ball. This is in the 90th minute. Manages to get the ball down at the wing and runs into the box. Great run by the wee man, but the ball falls to Sasa Papac. He shoots for a tight angle. Another fantastic save by Boric out for the corner. And this is where the bedlam starts.
Kevin Thompson's corner. It's Bagheera. Boric stops it. Boyd. Edu has put it in. Morris Edu right at the end. And Rangers take a giant leap towards back-to-back titles. The definitive better late than never goal from Morris Edu.
Yeah, I think we've just seen the goal that's won a championship here. All comes, get it, back post. Lovely touch in his chest. Boric does reasonably well. Boyd should have scored, and Edu certainly wasn't going to miss from 2 yards. Boric saw it late, he couldn't take it into his body. And Morris Edu gets an absolute gift, and one that should be enough to get Rangers over the championship finishing line.
You can see what it means to Rangers Football Club. They are heading 10 points clear of their Glasgow rivals. Morris Edu had the ball in the net when he came on in the first half. It didn't count then, but it sure counted right at the end. And Rangers do have a 10-point lead over their fierce rivals.
Kevin Thompson goes over to the Govan stand, to the corner. He whips the ball in to the box. It's chested down by Majid Bagheera, who shoots. He hits the ball straight at Arthur Boric, but hits it at such power Boric can only spill it. The ball falls to the feet of Chris Boyd. He swings and has his shot. It's half cleared. It bobbles at the edge of the goal line, and who's there to bundle it in but the substitute Morris Edu to send Ibrox absolutely into absolute bedlam. The place was absolutely rocking. I was so lucky that I was there. It was just absolutely sensational scenes. On the 92nd minute, he had basically won the league for Rangers, because that Celtic knew that it was all over. Absolutely incredible. And by that point, the referee blew full-time whistle not long after that. Rangers were 10 points clear at that stage, with only a few games left. It was just an incredible game for it being 1-0. It was such high stakes, and the scenes at the end of the game as well. You'll not see anything like that again. So just incredible. If you get the chance to go back and watch it, it was a fantastic game to watch, especially the fact that it was only 1-0. it wasn't a classic goal that won the game, but the importance of the goal, was well worth it, and you could see that with the supporters in the stadium, the amount of noise they made. It was fantastic.
There are certain games or certain events that you remember exactly where you were when you seen them, when the event happened, and this one is no different, because I seen this. The problem is I never seen the goal. I was in my mate's toilet at the time. I fucking missed it.
It's not like you, Derek, is it?
No. We're at his flat watching the game. Into the dying minutes, I thought, this is going to... I'm really bursting for a push here. I'd had a few pints at that time. Went to the toilet, and all I heard was, yes! From the living room. And I thought they were playing a joke on me. But no. I managed to kind of nip it and quickly run out and see the celebrations and see the replay. But yeah, we all remember that. And the goal itself was actually much like Clint Hill's a few years ago as well, with a last minute kind of poke through a packed defence as well. So just amazing. And I watched it back the other night there, not the full game, just the goal, because I've only managed to get the one wee clip of the highlights there. And an involuntary smile came across my face, because sometimes it just happens like that, and you go back right to that time when it was, and you remember your feelings, and you remember seeing it, or seeing the replay at least, and brilliant. So hopefully we can do that again, because there's nothing, we're certainly not going to get a helicopter Sunday this year, so hopefully we can get a last minute winner against them or something, just to make it even that bit more special and get it right up them.
I would take a last minute goal like that, Derek, from Alfredo Morelos. Nobody else in the team apart from him to score, the winning goal that won us a league. That for me would be absolutely priceless. So, but again, we're maybe getting ahead of yourselves here, Derek. But in an ideal world, that's what I would take. But there you go.
Yep. So we'll have another classic match the next time. So we'll move on now to the news. So quite a bit to cover in this one, and we kind of don't want to talk about this, but I think it's pertinent to talk about it. And Dave and I have not really said anything about this online, because it's not something that just needs to be paid lip service online about. And obviously I'm talking about the SFA report, the much delayed SFA report into child abuse in Scottish football has finally been released. 190 odd pages, I think it is. I've only read the 3 accounts about the abuse that's said to have happened with us. I've heard snippets of others as well, and it's absolutely harrowing and heartbreaking. And my heart goes out to everyone involved in the survivors in that. That said, I've heard and seen some reports that the survivors and their families are dismayed at the report, and they've stated it doesn't go far enough, and a lot of it's been whitewashed. The report has called on all clubs involved to make unequivocal and unreserved public apology to the victims. So Partick, Hibs and Celtic all have done so. Partick's and Hibs seemed a bit wishy-washy at best. Celtic's I really don't want to even get into, because it was a fucking farce. Basically reiterated their sympathy and sorrow they did in the statement a few months ago. Still never apologised. They state they have reiterated their apology, but from the previous statement, which again did not apologise. So Rangers, rightly or wrongly at this point, have yet to make any statement. Some journalists are calling us out on that, again, rightly or wrongly. One of them even said us not commenting is morally worse than Celtic and what we've said. Celtic at this point still deny that their boys' club had even anything to do with part of the main club. If Celtic were really sorry, then the up and coming court cases would now be dropped, and they would settle out of court now, and they would do everything they can. But Celtic are still continuing on with that. They're not conceding their cases at all. So don't get me even fucking started about what's morally right or wrong when it comes to comparing them. What happened at Rangers is nothing compared with what happened at Celtic. As for us, I'd like to think that we are working with the victims behind the scenes on this first, rather than giving just paying lip service to it in a statement online. I would also think that, given the reservations that some of the victims and their families have, I can kind of understand why we are holding back. Now, I'm not saying that us as a club should do nothing about it. I'm not saying that in the slightest. But if we take a step back a moment here, I think there's a rush from many fans of ours for the club to be seen to doing the right thing, rather than actually thinking about what the right thing actually is. This all has to be victim and survivor led. That's what they want. It's not about what makes clubs look good. It's not about trying to palm something off. And I think at this stage, just paying lip service with an apology kind of is that. Too many of us, I think, as well, are just wanting us to apologise, give them compensation, and then that's it. Again, some of the victims may not even want that. Some of them might not even want an apology, but just an acknowledgement that it happened. As for the compensation side of this, well, can someone tell me what exact value you put on something like this? Are there levels of compensation depending on the level of the abuse? That leads it then to, it opens it up to claims that can't be proven either way. The 3 cases that were linked to us in the report that were documented all appear to be from the same perpetrator. 2 of them the club didn't appear to know at the time about, and the third, as soon as we did find out about, we fired, that's been documented, we fired them and we contacted the police about. So there certainly can be an issue about, well, it was our job we should have known that what had happened. But unlike other clubs, we done the right thing and we fired the person as soon as we found out about it. Bearing in mind that same person worked for Hibs, then was allowed to go on to us because Hibs never done anything about it. So you've got to bear that in mind here. We done the right thing. And just on the contacting the police note, the report highlighted that it cannot be proven or disproven that we've contacted the police. Of course, the usual bunch have jumped on that stating, well, there's no record, so you clearly never. As I've said before in previous podcasts, it was decades ago. The police deemed it not to be a crime at the time from what's been reported. So I'll ask you a question. If you've contacted the police 20, 30 years ago and it was deemed no crime, go and contact the police now and ask them if you can get a copy of that report. Because bearing in mind that force that you contacted no longer exists, it's all been amalgamated into one force now. See how you get on about that, because it's likely it doesn't exist because it'd been another force, it'd been decades ago, it was non-crimed, and it was probably written down on paper. So I don't know what your thoughts are, Dave, on that. Certainly the club, I think, really need to start maybe even just saying we are working with the victims if that's what they're doing. They need to maybe start coming out and saying something about this, because it needs to be done now, doesn't it?
I agree with you 100% with the whole putting out a wishy-washy statement saying we're really sorry about everything that's happened. I would like to think that we were going to be a lot more classier than that, Derek, and the people that were involved, the club speaking to them directly rather than just putting out something over social media like certain other clubs do. I really don't want to talk about them because I know that they've still got their there's more to come on that, and I think they'll actually be shown exactly what happened with there. I'm can only really talk about us, and I think you've covered it perfectly there, Derek. If the club actually go and speak to the victims or the alleged victims directly, rather than just putting out some dodgy statement just to sort of make the press and other people happy, I would be much happier with that in a way, and I think it would be a better outcome as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just need to wait and see what happens there. It's something from a PR point of view. I really don't want to get into that because this is how all this really started, as a cover-up and to protect brands, and it's not really, it shouldn't be about that, and it should be about the victims ultimately and what they want out of it. And as I said, it can be easily done. Oh, we're sorry, here's a bunch of money, but you can't really just cover things and just giving them money. That might know what they might want in the first place, and it just seems a quick get out with that one. So we'll need to wait and see there, but as I said, I think they really need to at least put an acknowledgement out that we are working with it. But anyway, into the next story here, as much as you kind of try and move on from that one. If it wasn't enough this season that Jones and Edmondson were a pair of selfish arseholes who breached COVID regulations, 5 other players have now been fined because they were at a house party at the weekend there. Bassi, Patterson, Zungu, Mabudi and Kinnear were all the 5 players. It was dealt with internally. Rangers dealt with it on a PR point of view perfectly. They put a quick statement out saying that we are aware of the allegations, we're dealing with it internally, there'll be no further statement. And then it was confirmed, much like the Jones and Edmondson thing was, with Gerrard sitting down through club channels, and he gave a video interview about it, and he obviously went on to state what he stated and confirmed who the players were. But for a start, you're a thick fuck if you're doing this as a footballer just now. How thick do you need to be, though, considering you've already had two teammates do the exact same thing and get fined, be basically shipped out the door, and then 5 players go and do it themselves? Absolute fucking ludicrous, isn't it?
I cannot fathom how any of them would think that it was acceptable to even attempt to get away with it, Derek, because, for one, because of the high profile that the last two idiots had within Scotland and the media and everybody knowing that this had happened, everything that's happened at Celtic, the numerous incidents that they've had regarding it, what happened with Aberdeen, we all know that Rangers will be magnified 10 times more than any of them. And every single one of them bound to have known that they would be at risk of getting leaked if they were going to do it. And I'm not, obviously, I'm not condoning them actually doing it, but I'm just trying to think what was going through their heads. And for 2 of the players expelled, 3 of those players especially, all 3 that have been heavily involved in the first team, I can guarantee that the management at Rangers would be saying to them all on a daily basis, do not fuck up at this time of the season. Do not put this club in any danger. Do not put any of your fellow teammates in danger. Resist any, all, offers that you have for going out and mingling with your friends. What we are doing this season is way bigger than any of that. And for those 5 players to do it, it's just absolutely unacceptable, Derek. I was absolutely gutted. And especially tonight with, we said that very briefly, there's Tav, looks as if he's got a bad injury. There's, hopefully he's not out for long. But the young laddie Patterson could have stepped in there straight away, then not one person would have batted an eyelid, because we all know he's a fantastic player. Same with Bassey. If anything happened to Barisic at left back, we had a guy that can come in there and play. And Zungu, who, I don't think he'll play for us again. I think he'll be shipped back to France, to his parent club. Absolute madness from them all, Derek. Ridiculous. And going from guys like us who love the club, the chance that we've got, to win the league this season, we would be doing everything possible to make sure that nobody stepped out of line there. So you can bet your boots the fact that all the other players in the Rangers first team will be absolutely raging with the players, because you can take it that all of the senior players, Alan McGregor, James Tavernier, Stephen Davis, guys like that, they'll have been telling them all as well, we don't want any fuck-ups here, we only want to go and win this league, do not fuck up. So you can guarantee that that's been drummed into the guys, and for them still to go out and do it, Derek, it's unforgivable in my eyes.
Yeah, 4 games away for being hailed as part of a legendary squad, and to do something as selfish as this. I hope Patterson is really greeting his beans out tonight at the fact that he could have been playing tonight. Obviously due to an unfortunate situation with one of his teammates, but that's what happens in football. And see this excuse, but they're young, you know what you were like when you were young. Well, I'm sorry. When I was young, I wasn't a professional footballer getting paid thousands of pounds a week in a very privileged position. That's Derek, the difference.
It's not even that, Derek. It's even the chance to be playing for Rangers in this season. Forget being a professional footballer and getting paid a lot of money. The position that the players are in at the moment, and as I say, for a guy like Patterson that's came right through the youth academy at Rangers, you cannot tell me that guy isn't Rangers daft. And I just find it absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that I would put myself in that situation if I was playing for Rangers and the chance to win the league. Quite incredible. It really is. I've said it all right. It's unforgivable, and especially now the position that we're in. Absolutely stupid for the lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them being sacked, but I think they'll be shipped out at the earliest convenience. Patterson, given the fact that he's just signed a new deal, he's got potential value for the potential he's got as a player as well, and the position we need covering, then he might survive this. But I don't know. But we'll just need to wait and see. Celtic fans, as usual, calling for the league to be null and void. I mean, just fucking how desperate do you get? Some of them also, which was hilarious, claiming that the SNP are clearly supporting Rangers by letting us off with this again. It's no fair that we got hammered and pulled across the coals for going to Dubai, yet once again their players are at a house party. Not even fucking remotely the same thing, but never mind.
Nothing at all like it.
Yep. Next thing here, Rangers announced a crackdown on counterfeit merchandise vendors and urged fans to buy direct. Quite correct, as a lot of these people are using our name, logo and badge to benefit themselves or criminality, and no money goes to the club. On the other side of this though, there are many items that the club don't make, and there's clearly a market for, like retro tops and other kind of style of tap merch as well. I think as well though that even if it's out with Castore, the club need to be taking note of what sells and how to expand the brand. And also, as much as Castore stuff may be generally great quality, not everyone can afford a £100 hoodie with a Rangers badge on it.
Yep.
So you need to have that affordable range as well. On the kind of kits note as well, we've announced a new kit sponsorship with Bitsy. I think that's his name, Bitk or Bitsy Technology, who are a digital currency trading platform, so a cryptocurrency type thing. Their brand will appear on the first team shorts. With the deal, we'll also have a Rangers fan token, which is a new brand of digital currency. Other high-profile European clubs have done this also. I have no idea what that's all about, to be honest. Heart and Hand have stated that the deal was worth £500,000 up front and then eventually another £1 million. That's significant money for what limited kind of branding it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, our strip's going to be looking like a 90s F1 car with all the branding on it, but if it's helping invest in the squad, I don't really care.
Exactly, Derek. We said it time and time again, and I mean that's huge figures for such a small thing to do. So, get it done. The more money that's coming into the club, the better.
Yep. More announcements here from the club. We've also partnered with NordVPN. I first actually heard about this from a text in my group chat from one of my mates saying, Derek, it's good to see that the club now endorse your illegal practices of how you watch the games, meaning the fact that I buy RTV and use a VPN. So I corrected him there and said that, mind that VPNs are perfectly legal. So yeah. Next thing, Club 1872 have confirmed that they're looking to buy £2.5 million worth of shares in a share issue that is forthcoming. Dave King has also allowed them to suspend buying shares for about 6 months so that they can do this as well. So they done an interview with Dave King and Laura Fox of Club 1872, done an interview with Mark Hateley's podcast, which I haven't listened to because I don't subscribe to, but they did also do the Gallant Few podcast as well. So it's interesting. It's certainly, I'm still on the fence with it, and I know that Laura came out with the line, which is correct, I suppose. If you're on the fence, then the only way that it's going to succeed is if you invest. But I don't know. I'm just still wary about the whole thing. I don't know what your view is, Dave.
Well, I think we spoke about it before, Derek. You can see good and bad in both ways. There's been, I know there's a lot of people have got, I'll not say I've got a gripe with Club 1872, but they have their concerns about it as well with the amount of power that they'll have in the club. I'm kind of one of these people, though, Derek, that I am always weary of everything that's happened to us in the past, and the more sort of Rangers-minded people that are investing money in the club, the better. So, again, it's one of these things that we'll have to wait and see what turns out. But the one thing is, I would say that they had the club's, the club's welfare at heart more than anything else. So you can only be thankful for that.
Yeah, I mean, they did go on to say about the fact that the model is for investors and shareholders not to keep having to top up investments to keep the club afloat, and we are nearly sustainable with the European money and player sales, etc., which is, quite correct. It's always the case of we've been burnt before. What if the investors do need to happen? Will they have the money there? Also, another thing, they want to look and get somebody not on the club's 1872 board, but a member on the actual Rangers board as well, which could be forthcoming shortly. The thing about that is they can't then go from a board meeting at Rangers, then disclose that to all the Club 1872 members because it's private and confidential information. So I don't know how that stands. Dave King made the point that the fact that he does have companies where he puts somebody in place to represent his position on the board, so where he's not able to attend the board meetings. He says that's done widely in the various different companies, but that's granted, but at the same time, that's somebody talking on behalf of Dave King. This is somebody who is talking on behalf of a massive support, 30,000, 50,000, a million supporters, whatever it may be. So it's slightly different that way. So that's my concern as well, the fact that they're attending board meetings and they can't really disclose really anything that happens at the Rangers end. But we'll need to wait and see what happens. It's power on ahead anyway, so we'll wait and see.
Yep.
Next thing here, Rangers have announced a partnership with Hamburg SV. Long-standing friendship dating back to the 70s, where I actually thought it started with Albert's as well, so I'll need to read up my history in that one. A number of initiatives have been planned between both clubs and the supporters, so a really interesting one there. I've heard Hamburg is a bit of a mental trip away, isn't it?
It is, Derek. I've been there on a stag do. Absolutely fantastic. And I was there when the World Cup was on. Germany were playing Ghana at the time, and we went to one of the big fan zones, and I had my Rangers top on, and the amount of Hamburg fans that came over and spoke to me was quite incredible. There was loads and loads, all big Rangers fans who knew all about the team, and I mean, that was when we were, down in the, playing in the, second division. Football in Scotland, and they all knew everything that was going on with Rangers and the troubles that we'd had, and I was totally taken aback by their hospitality and everything, just because I had my Rangers top on. So it was great. So I knew the strong ties that they had. I work with a guy as well at work that's a big Rangers fan, Derek, and he's got quite a few close friends from Germany that he meets up with, or he did before COVID, to go over and watch the Hamburg games as well. So there is a huge link there, and that's it officially done now. So I think it's absolutely fantastic. That the club has recognised that, and here's hoping that there's going to be something regular in the future. I don't know if there's going to be friendly games home and away or whatever. I don't know how they're going to tie it. They've not been very specific in what's going to actually happen, but if there is, then that'd be a fantastic away or a fantastic trip away as like a pre-season match or something like that. So no, it's excellent, really, really good.
In the latest round of court hearing, Sports Direct won a case to have files held by Dave King and Paul Murray disclosed in relation to our damages hearing. So I've no idea where that's going. I don't know if anybody knows where that's going just now, but it's just a case and wait and see.
I get a shiver down my spine every time those words are mentioned, Derek. The words of Sports Direct and Rangers. It seems as if it's never ending sometimes.
Yeah. And talking of court cases, the Lord Advocate has agreed that Rangers administrators' malicious prosecution by the Crown Office should be independently probed after an MSP has called for this. No idea when that will be, but one of two things will be found out. If any wrongdoing did take place on the Crown's part, then why did it take place? And if there was no wrongdoing, why was the compensation so quickly dished out by the new Lord Advocate? And it's exorbitant amounts that are dished out as well. All in, it's turned around that all in, this could have cost the taxpayer over £100 million just for this one case. Yep. Between lawyers, between court times, between compensation, etc. Adding the expenses for HMRC, basically pursuing a fictitious EBT figure, it's turned out. It's absolutely scandalous, and I dare I say it, criminal what HMRC and what the Crown Office have got up to in relation to all this. Something stinks somewhere. As I've said, we'll probably never get to the bottom of it.
I think that's what's the most sickening part about it, Derek, is we just want answers. We want to know exactly what went on. And as you say, it's one of these things. It's either going to go on for years and years and years before we find anything, or it'll not happen at all. That's the most disappointing thing for me as well. That figure is just absolutely. It takes your breath away, Derek. The amount of money that it's cost, the taxpayer for that case, absolutely diabolical. And we just have to hope that we get more more answers than there is questions, when the latest findings come out, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
No, absolutely not. Last piece of news here I've got is just everybody's probably seen it by now, but it was fucking hilarious. Bobby Bullock, the co-commentator for Hamilton TV, was sacked for telling fans about him going for a jobby at halftime, and after coming back late, he told everybody that he had to squeeze it out. Just absolutely hilarious.
Only in Scottish football, I think I put that on my Facebook at the time, because I put it in that. Only at Scottish football could you get a commentator talking about going for a jobby, Derek. Quite incredible. That, in my opinion, should have been in one of your stories at the end of the pod. That's how funny that was. It was quite incredible. I think the thing that I found most incredible about it was he said it first, then he said it again, and then he said it again after it. He mentioned it 3 times during his commentary, which is absolutely unbelievable. And you could tell how embarrassed and uncomfortable the actual co-commentator was when he kept mentioning it all the time. It was absolutely hilarious. So brilliant.
I mean, for him to get sacked, was it a wee bit, TMI? Absolutely. But you know what? It's a bit of light relief for what we've all been going through just now.
I know.
The subscribers to that channel are probably, less than a couple of thousand folk. I can't imagine many people will be raging about that. It's a bit of comedy, I think Hamilton need to lighten up.
Oh, dear. But absolutely hilarious.
I mean, when you think about it, Billy Connolly has made a career out of the word wee bees jobby.
Exactly.
That was my Billy Connolly impression there, by the way.
Oh, was it? I thought it was some sort of mad sort of Chinese guy that you're doing an impersonation of there, but
if I'm leaving going there, this will get taken off.
I shouldn't have said that. Didn't tempt them.
So, man claims he was looking for Saturn's ring when he was caught without trousers down in a lay-by. A man has been fined after claiming he drove 300 miles in lockdown to take pictures of planets from Snowdon when he was caught with his trousers round his ankles in a North Wales lay-by. Police were called to reports to 2 men lying on the ground beside the North Road in Betts-Wade Coed on December the 21st. When they arrived, Philip Petrick, aged 31, tried to remove one of the police officers' face masks and asked, "Do you want to suck my dick?" He then proceeded to walk round in just his underpants, ignoring any instructions given to him, slurring his speech and appearing unsteady. He was taken to the local police office where to sober up, and in the following morning he said they had driven from Southampton 2 days earlier to go camping and to do some photography. The Great Conjunction with Jupiter and Saturn was taking place during Petrick's planned stay in North Wales. He would have been able to see Uranus with an optical aid. There's an irony for you, isn't it? But his arrest made that impossible because he had been ordered back to his home in Southampton.
Did you say that he was trying to see Saturn's ring?
Yes.
So that's the guy's name, Saturn.
Saturn.
Oh my God.
So he was effectively fined £745 for being drunk and disorderly, £500 for breaching COVID regulations, and the magistrate said, "Your actions on December the 21st, 2020 were negligent and reckless at the very least. You breached coronavirus regulations that had been put in place to protect people. Your behaviour potentially put local population at significant risk and cannot be tolerated." So, I'm sure there's a moral to that story somewhere, but...
Oh my God. It's the fact that the report managed to get in Saturn's rings and Uranus into it as well, Derek, which I actually thought was quite good. So
what I found strange is they never actually said anything about the second man he was apparently with there, so I don't think it was Saturn's ring he was looking for.
Aye, unless the other guy was called Saturn.
Yes, exactly. So, on that note,
we
will end the podcast. So, as ever, you can check our stuff out at ireadypodcast.wordpress.com. And there you can find previous podcasts and previous match reactions. So, Dave, it's been a fantastic night. Just draining. I'm absolutely shattered now. I'm going off to my bed, and that'll be that.
Fair enough, Derek. You await your bed. I think I'll be going to bed soon as well. But as you say, an incredible night in European football. A fantastic victory for us again, and I just hope it's more of a straightforward match in the return leg than it was tonight.
We're winning this Europa League, Dave. We really are.
What can I say, mate? What can I say?
Here we go, off to Gdansk, off to Gdansk. Here we go, off to Gdansk.
I hope and pray, Derek, that if that is the case, that the fans will be able to actually go. I keep saying it's the only thing about this season. It's so bad that the supporters haven't actually been able to get to the games to go and see it. So here's hoping by that point that they'll be able to get travelling to games again. So fingers crossed.
I just hope it's in Gdansk, because I'm going somewhere else then if that's the case. Yes, it's in Gdansk. I'll just check. So right.
That's fine. Okay.
So on that note, thanks for listening and goodbye.
Goodbye, folks. Take care. We'll be back soon.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself.
Rangers are coming!
Oh, jinx. So sorry about I hadn't pressed the button. I went away for a job at half time. Excuse my term of language, and I've not pressed the wee button on when I come back. So apologies to anybody who have not heard me this second half.
You're speaking in the vernacular there. Apologies if you deem that bad language, viewers.
Yeah, sorry, it was just a wee bit poop, and I was a wee bit late back over. Because it was I had to squeeze quite a bit. Sorry, I'll just change the subject and get back to the match, but I forgot to press my wee button. So delighted to be back with you all.
Football Bobby will